A few weeks ago, Sony announced the G-Master series of lenses. And in this particular video, I'm going to talk to you about the 85mm 1.4 G-Master lens. I was one of only two people that actually got the lens ahead of the announcement. I've done a number of photo shoots with this lens, and so I'm going to share some of the shots that I got with this lens. But over and above that, the question that everybody's been asking me since I started to share images with this lens was, how does it compare to the Zeiss, the Batis 85 1.8? And so in this video, I'm going to give you my initial thoughts and let you know what I think in terms of this epic showdown. Which is better, the Sony G-Master 85 1.4 or the Zeiss Batis 1.8? Stay tuned and find out. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Miguel Quiles. I am a Sony artisan of imagery, and before I begin, I want to say a couple of things right out of the gate. First and foremost, all of the thoughts and everything that I'm about to share with you here are from my personal experience using both of these lenses. I've had the Zeiss since the day it was released, and I also got the 85mm 1.4 about a week or so ahead of the announcement. So had a little bit less experience with that. It's been about 3 weeks now. I wanted to make sure that I got a lot of photo shoots in with the lens so I can give you a very thorough opinion of what I think of it, especially how it compares to the Zeiss. And so first and foremost, these are my own thoughts, my own words that I'm going to tell you. This isn't a paid thing. This isn't something that Sony said, hey, you have to say this or you have to say that. Zeiss, same thing. These are my own thoughts and experience. And the other thing as well is that I was using a pre-production model of the lens. And so I'll show you a couple of pictures here on the screen, but the lens that I was using was pre-production. It didn't have any badges on it. It didn't have the little G-Master sticker, and it didn't say 85 1.4. So you have to keep this in mind. As far as I know, this lens was tweaked and calibrated. It's going to be very close to the lens that you're going to be buying when it's available, I believe next month in March. But it was a pre-production model, so I do want to go ahead and say that up front. With that, with pre-production models of lenses, that means that I'm not going to be posting full resolution, like high-res shots on the web. I don't think that's really fair to take pre-production images and put them out there, because it's going to be a little bit different than what the actual lens is going to be when it's released. But I will share with you some shots here, and I have shared some on social media. So if you're not following me, before I even get into any of this, make sure you're checking out my work on Instagram at Miguel Quiles Photography, also Miguel Quiles Photography on Facebook, and miguelquiles.com on my website, so you can keep up with my workshops and classes and all of that stuff. Anyway, without further ado, so let's start first by talking about the 85 1.4 G-Master lens. So first things first, let's talk about the lens itself. And there's actually a lot to love about this lens. You have a beautiful big piece of glass on the front of this lens. Everything about the lens feels just high quality. You have the ring, the manual focus ring, and the aperture control ring, which are very grippy, which I really like. Whenever you have the camera up to your face, you want to be able to make adjustments to your manual focus if you're, shooting manually, or if you're using the aperture ring. You want to be able to kind of quickly grab it and change your settings and be able to do what you're going to do, and then just kind of get out there and keep shooting. And I really like that. And I'll say that with the Zeiss Batis, just to kind of bring that in, because you're probably going to be asking how that compares. The Zeiss barrel is very, very smooth. And so it's something that kind of takes a little bit of getting used to for me, because it feels a little different than some of the lenses that I'm used to using. The manual focus ring on it kind of has this soft rubbery texture on the Batis, and at times it makes it a little difficult because the whole barrel and the ring is smooth. It's kind of tough to tell whether or not I'm actually have my hand on the right spot. So that is something that the G-Master, the 85 1.4, definitely has ahead of that Batis lens, in that the construction is solid, it feels great. If you have used the 35mm 1.4 from Sony, it almost kind of has a similar feel to that, but the focus ring is definitely a little more textured. The aperture ring is more textured, definitely like that. So as far as build quality goes, I would tell you that you feel like you are holding a very expensive lens when you hold the 85 1.4. Oftentimes I'll use different lenses and you kind of can feel whether or not you've paid good money and that you've gotten great quality out of your investment. Kind of like if for you iPhone users, when you hold an iPhone, you know that this isn't a, $25 phone. Like, this is something that is high quality and it feels good. And the 85 1.4 G-Master lens definitely feels extremely high quality. But of course, it's very important that these lenses perform, right? Because we buy these lenses because we want to make sure that they are capable of providing us with great images. And for myself, I'm a studio portrait photographer, and I put the 85 1.4 through its paces for a variety of different photo shoots. One of the styles that I typically tend to shoot with the 85 1.4 is a style that I call my dramatic portraits. And I did a number of shots, dramatic portraits, with the 85 1.4, and I loved it. I love the blur. I loved all of the creamy parts of the image, especially if you, for example, in this image here of this model, as her hair was moving, you just get this beautiful blur in the hair that just adds this really dreamy quality to the image. And the 85 1.4 definitely delivered when it comes to being able to give you a sharp image. So obviously in a portrait you want to make sure the eyes are in focus, and I was able to get the eyes in focus without a problem. So the focus was great, the image was very sharp, the blurry bits were very blurry and creamy, which looked really nice. And the thing that really was kind of interesting to me was that, and I'll show you a couple of images here of this little action figure that I photographed, but if you were to photograph something where you have different lights and stuff in the background, maybe a night portrait or a night scene, and if you see the lights, you'll see that the bokeh is very circular, like it's perfectly circular. And so that was one of the things that I realized that was quite different. They talked about how there's 11 aperture blades in the 85 1.4, which is very different than a lot of other lenses. You'll notice that the Batis, for example, has 9 aperture blades, and a lot of other lenses also have 9 aperture blades. And so what does that mean? Let's take a look at the Zeiss Batis shot, and both of these are taken wide open. Obviously the 85 1.4 was at 1.4, the Batis goes down to 1.8, and you'll notice right away that the bokeh, the little circles, those little bokeh circles in the background, they're perfectly circular on the Sony G-Master lens, and on the Zeiss, some are circular, some are kind of like, I don't know, dented circles. I don't know how to describe it. It just has a certain look to it. Now, had you not seen the images side by side, would you be happy with the bokeh from the Batis? Yeah, you probably would be. I've had the Batis now for a few months. I believe August was when it was released and when I got it, and I've been happy with it. I've liked shooting with it. However, you can definitely tell the difference in the quality of the blur. You could tell the difference in just the properties of the bokeh, that it just looks a lot different on the G-Master lens. It looks really interesting, and I feel like if you're trying to take images that stand out and stand apart from the competition, definitely this is going to be a lens that's going to be very, very interesting for you. So at the end of the day, you're probably just sitting there wondering, so Miguel, tell me, which is better? Like, don't beat around the bush. Which one is better? Which one are you gonna own? Which one do you recommend that I own? And to be honest with you, I'm actually gonna own both. And here's why. The 85 1.8, I really feel, is made for a different user. It's made for a different customer. And the 85 1.4 is made for a different customer and for different situations. The 85 1.8, the advantages that it has are that it is smaller and it's a lighter lens than the 85 1.4. So if you are in a scenario, let's say for example that you are taking a lens with you for travel, for portraits, you may decide that you may want to take something a little bit lighter with you, and the Batis definitely is smaller and lighter, And I feel that people who are buying mirrorless cameras because they want something a little bit lighter for travel and recreational purposes and things of that nature, they are going to love the Batis 1.8. However, if you are a working photographer, and again, that is what I do, I do photography for a hobby, but at the same time, photography is my business. It is my life, it is my career. And so for me, it is of the utmost importance to make sure that I have lenses that are giving me the best optical quality, that give me durability, that give me longevity. I definitely can't spend, over $1,000 on anything that is not high quality, that's gonna last me for a long time. And the 85 1.4 G-Master is a lens that honestly, you're one and done. You buy that lens and you really don't have any reason to ever go out and buy another 85mm lens of any type. So for me, if the budget allows you to go out and get the very best lens that you can get, I'm gonna tell you without a doubt, the 85 1.4 is gonna be the one that you wanna own. However, I believe that if you were to get the Batis 85 1.8, let's say you don't have the budget and you're just scraping by just to get that, I believe $1,200 or $1,300 for the Zeiss Batis. If that's all you can afford, you can make excellent images, and I've shot amazing images with the 85 1.8. So which is better? I don't know. To be honest with you, I've got the Zeiss Batis. I'm getting the 85 1.4. I can see myself using both lenses in different situations, and so for me, I'm keeping both. But for you, that's a decision you're gonna have to make. But if your budget allows you to, I don't think that you are missing anything other than maybe the size and the weight, going with the G-Master over the Batis. So that's pretty much it. What are your thoughts? What do you think about the recently announced 85 1.4? I want to hear your comments and hear your thoughts, because I may end up revisiting this topic once the lens is actually made available. So make sure you leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the G-Master lens. Let me know what you think about your Batis lens as well. And which one are you going to get? If you're on the fence, what lens are you thinking about getting? Make sure you leave that in the comments section below. Thanks again, everyone, for watching, and I hope this was of some help to you, and I will see you here next time in my very next video. Oh, by the way, if you didn't already know this, because I did share this earlier, I have a new show on Adorama TV called The Breakdown. And so if you haven't checked that out, make sure that you head over to Adorama TV's YouTube channel and check out some of the tutorials. They are all Sony specific, just showing you how I use my Sony camera in different professional situations, how I create some of my beauty shots and time lapses. The last video I just posted showed my retouching. And so make sure that you check out Adorama TV as well. Check out some of the videos that I'm doing there. But anyway, thank you for watching this. Hope this helped you out, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.